All right, markets begin the week with all attention on Jackson Hole. That's where the Fed holds its annual gathering. Rate cut expectations have sent stocks to new highs lately. Let's bring in Chris Verrone from Strategas for his insights. But that's what we're trading on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, rate cuts. The hopes and dreams of rate cuts?
Well, I think that's been the leadership message, particularly the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. And really, even pre-August payrolls, the soft print, you began to see stuff like Homebuilders, biotech, small caps start to come to life. And, it's been a welcome rotation as some of the bigger stocks, some of the AI-driven stories have churned here. So we certainly welcome this message to the more economically cyclical corners of the market. I think it continues to portend pretty good things down the road.
Oh, so you believe in it? I mean, I was going to say, if we don't get the payoff, what happens to the home builders, the biotechs, and the small caps? I mean, they're already kind of acting like they're not going to get what they want.
Well, I think you're beginning to see legitimate trend changes. And again, this predates the last several weeks. I mean, these home builders began to turn 3 or 4 months ago. You're getting trend changes in all of them. D.R. Horton, Lennar, Pulte, Toll. Look at some of these global autos, which, again, I would argue are very much at the forefront of the economic cyclical story we're trying to tell here. Things from Toyota in Japan to even GM here has acted well despite a news flow or a macro setup that would argue against owning those stocks. So I welcome when things act differently than maybe the news might suggest.
So when you say the story we are trying to tell, are you talking about you
Yes.
guys, your firm?
Yes.
So you're real believers that we're going to have a broadening out? Do we have money come away from mega cap into all of these underloved areas?
I think it's unappreciated. The equal weight S&P is also at new highs here. Now, we can talk about whether small or equal weight is leadership.
Doesn't take that much to get a new high. I mean, does it? The equal weight?
Well, I mean, we're talking about
really
500 stocks typically weighted
no.
with a big corner of the market. You talk about these small caps, 50-day up through the 200-day now. You look at what has worked within the small cap arena. Industrials, economically sensitive, very potent, and the fact now that you're seeing small cap healthcare, which is a very large weighting in Russell 2, come to life again, I think reflects an environment where you have kind of the best of both worlds. You have short rates coming down. You have the long end of the curve relatively stable. I think it's a good message that steeper curve, the economy's in decent hands here.
Some call it a bear steepening, but I mean, do we have to have cuts for this to work or no?
I think with the 2-year yield at 375, the market's telling you a modest easing cycle is likely in the cards here. And we always joked in our work, we'll listen to the 2-year yield over any Fed speaker any day of the week.
Well, that's the Gunlock perspective, too. Yeah. It's like the 2-year leads the Fed.
And 75 bips below where Fed funds is, I think, is a good enough reason right now for the Fed to at least give you 25 into September.
Okay. And
then we can talk about what the fall brings.
You think we're going to get more this year?
I think we'll get one more this year, and it sets you up. We're talking about home building or housing, maybe for a better than expected spring selling season. I think that's what these home building stocks might be starting to pick up. Remember, Scott, these home builders have been in a bear market for 15, 16, 17 months. They went down 40 or 50%. At what point is the news in all of these? I suspect it's probably here.
We'll leave it there. Chris, thanks.
Thank you.